Hey everyone, and welcome to another Gazmo build tutorial, where today we're going to be attacking something that people have highly requested, which is ship building. Hopefully this tutorial will help you find out how to build better ships. I'm here with Cauliflowers. Collie, say hello.
Hello.
And yeah, so we'll start off with the basic shape of the ship, which is the start. And what we've got here is the hull. We've got the forecastle at the front, which is the raised part. And what's the back part called?
It can either be called the, I think it's stern cabins or aft castle.
We'll call it that for argument's sake. With all builds, it's always sensible to outline your block palette. For the sake of this video, we're just going to use one or two blocks to show you the basics of it. Now, what's the front part called, Collie?
This bit's called the prow.
The pokey part.
The prow, yeah.
The prow.
The bit that goes through the water.
We have to use proper terms here.
Yeah.
Professionals. Okay, so Collie, take us through the basic shape then.
Right. So basically, you want to make sure that it's pretty long. If you're building a ship that's centered around cargo or it's more bulky, you won't want it to be very streamlined or sleek like this one. However, obviously, if you want to make a fast-looking ship, you want it to look pretty long, pretty streamlined. One thing I have not done with this one yet, because I haven't gotten around to it, is usually on ships of this period, the back section and the front section would be higher than the middle section. And you can do this with two different techniques. You can either just build it like that as you build it, or, which is my method, you can build it all flat like this. Then you can use a plugin called World Edit to select regions around the back section and the front section, copy them, and raise them a little bit to emulate that, which makes it look a little bit more 3D, a little bit more organic. I do warn you though, if you do the second option, the option that I use, you will have to go and put in a little bit of reworking to the hull, just to make sure that it fits in properly and looks like it's supposed to be there. Once you've done that, you can line out the forecastle up here. You don't need it if you don't want it, but it's a nice little design aspect to have. Usually doesn't really fit in with smaller ships. Obviously, the aft castle back here, where all the important officers rather would stay, that's pretty much necessary. I don't see many ships that don't have this, unless you're building like fishing boats or something.
Or modern ships.
Or modern ships.
And that's the thing. Whilst we can show you the basic structure to a ship, what goes into it, there are so many different styles, different things that you're going to have to do a little bit of research. You're going to have to decide what kind of boat you want. Do you want a galleon or a cruiser?
Ships of the line.
Yeah, which time period? There is literally millions to choose from. But it all does revolve around the same thing. You've got your centre pit, your hull. You've got your forecastle and the captain's quarters at the back. That's your standard pirate ship or
General ship.
just
some
general
design.
ship design. Now Collie has started from the bottom here, and he's built up, and he's built the walls up to give it a slight curve. If you just knock out a bit and show them how you've started that.
Okay, let me knock out this section. While I'm doing that, I will visit the point of how you can start building your ship. I've seen people lay out a skeleton for it first, so they'd lay out these ribs vertically and horizontally, and then they'd fill in all the gaps. As Vorsk said, I don't do that. I build from the bottom up, because that's just what I do. It can be easier, can be harder. Obviously, if you're making a fat ship, the hulls are usually quite bulbous, so they'll get fatter around the center, and then as you get up to the top deck, they'll start to taper in, which can be a little bit annoying to emulate at times. But yeah, so what I'd usually do, actually I'll start up here, is I'd make a long line, kind of like this, start bringing it out a little bit, and I won't change the logs for time's sake. And then I would start bringing it up a little bit. Obviously, you want the prow to be pointy, sleek. Make sure that it looks like it can cut through the water fairly quickly, like this. So you'd obviously want this to be longer. There are some prow designs where it kind of tapers up and pushes the water aside in a specific kind of way. It's a bit hard to describe, but if you look at other ships that are out there on PMC, Minecraft forums and such, you'll hopefully understand what I'm trying to say. And basically, once you've got this, like the first 2 layers, it's just carry on from there. If you want a tall ship, obviously go tall, make it bulbous and all that. If you want it to be fairly sleek, streamlined, pretty low to the water, you don't need it all that tall.
Okay,
don't
so
even really need a deck.
From this point, we best have a look at how you build the ship, Collie. So we'll go into a time lapse. So let's start that. Okay, so there we've had Collie build the basic ship from what we've learned earlier about what the basic shape is about. He's put some masts in. You're going to need those for the sails, which will come in a bit. He's put some extra detail on the front just to give it a bit of a better look. He's given it a back part for the captain's quarters, and he's given it a front part for other design elements. You've got enough space if you want to put a below deck for some interior, give it a bit more oomph to the build. And so yeah, sails. So if we come over here, we've just got some mock-ups. We'll start in this one. This is a flatter build. This is the basics of what you would do or what you would start with. But that's not good enough. You want to make it more natural. You want to make it look like it's moving. You want to make it a little bit more organic. So if we see this middle one, it's got a bit of a nicer shape to it, a bit more of an organic build, no real straight lines to it. And then if we come over here, this is what it would look like if the sail was rolled up. And that's one of the biggest complaints I ever see on people's builds of ships is they've got a ship at a dock and it's got full-blown sails to it. But if it's at a dock, the sails wouldn't be down. So that's something you can do for a bit more of a realistic effect. And now the other thing is, and that comes down to detailing, is rigging. What rigging is, for anybody that doesn't know, is the ropes, the things that hold the sails in place. So Collie, if we just go through the rigging.
Right. Like Ed said, rigging is to keep all the sails in place. Usually, I like to start from top to bottom. Obviously, with the rigging on the top sails, it holds the top sails to the sails beneath it. With the bottom sails, the sails that are just above the deck, you can stylize the actual sail itself with little pointy tips at the bottom coming out beneath it. This is to emulate, for instance, let's say the wind has caught the sail and it's obviously making the ship move forward. The sail is going to be pretty taut against the rigging that's holding it in place. So you obviously add these little pointy tips to simulate that. And then you can bring the rigging down a little bit if you want, attach it to the deck, and there you go.
And it's as simple as that. It's just an extra detail that makes the build look a bit more realistic. And for that, we normally use fences, as that's the closest we can get to rope. You can use wooden ones if you want. We prefer to use the metal fences as it's a bit thinner and a bit more realistic. And then the other part really is giving a ship detail. So this, I guess, is a bit more of a pirate ship. So it's gonna have cannons. So you can do cannons to it. You can give it a bit of an interior. Anything you feel is good for that ship. Probably the most important thing is all ships are different, and the people who create them, they all do it in a completely different way. But it always involves those basic elements of how the ship looks on the bottom, its bow and its stern, how it looks on the front, and it's always got the same bits to it. The masts are normally the same. So as long as you involve all of that into your build, it's gonna look like a great ship. And then it's just a matter of making it look a bit more realistic. So Collie's just knocking up a cannon down here, because cannons are cool. Definitely want cannons.
Everyone loves cannons.
And yeah, so that's really it, guys. Go have a look at a guy named Silhouette on Planet Minecraft. He is by far one of the best ship builders, and he does all kinds of different styles. And he's someone really worth taking a look at. But for the last part of this tutorial, we'll just show you an example of what a finished product looks like. Now, Collie, paste that in. And I hope this doesn't lag. Where are you? You're over there.
Cross your fingers.
Cross our fingers. Crossing. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. So here's a full blown ship.
Yeah.
Full sails, full rigging. Quite like this one. It's very nice.
Yeah.
You got the detail to it. Lots and lots of cannons, because we do like cannons.
Yeah. Two things I'd like to mention quickly is, if you're building a ship that is obviously going to be sailing along the water, usually it's going to have a little bit of water rising up against the prow and a lot of foam and such. So you can put cobwebs in front of it to emulate that foam and the bubbles and all that.
That's always a good detail to put. I like it
Yeah.
when I see that.
Up here. Secondly, don't be daunted by the size of the ship. Took me about 2 days to build this. Just keep on going, basically. Don't get scared.
So there we go, guys. The end of the ship tutorial. And as always, take it easy. Bye bye.